Florida City, located in southern Miami-Dade County, Florida, has a rich history tied to its agricultural roots, strategic location, and evolving community. Here's a concise overview: early history and settlement origins. As Detroit, 1910. Florida City began as a land promotion scheme called Detroit by the Miami Land and Development Company, led by the Tatum brothers. In 1910, about 30 families, many from Topeka, Kansas, settled in the area after initially staying in nearby Homestead. The land, classified as overflow by the federal government, was transferred to the state of Florida, then to the Florida East Coast Railways Model Land Company, and purchased by the developers in 1913. Incorporation as Florida City, 1914. Initially named Detroit after heavy promotion in Michigan, the area saw conflict between southern settlers and northern newcomers, particularly from Detroit, who were dissatisfied with their land purchases and returned north. The remaining families renamed the area Florida City upon its incorporation in 1914. Early development. By 1922, Florida City had a population of over 800, with a drugstore, hardware store, three-story hotel, a large ice plant, the largest in the state, and a lumber mill. The economy was primarily agricultural, with crops like potatoes grown in the East Glade. A canal, completed in 1912, facilitated transport from Biscayne Bay to the Florida City Industrial Basin, supporting farming and trade. Growth and challenges. 1920s expansion and setbacks. In 1925, Florida City's boundaries briefly extended to Biscayne Bay but were restored to their original size due to lack of development. A devastating hurricane in 1926 damaged many buildings, shifting the economy back to agriculture. The Miami Land and Development Company's ambitious plans, including additional towns, failed during the 1920s South Florida real estate collapse. Infrastructure and community. The developers built the Pavilion, a social hub with a swimming area and dance floor, and a recreation building that served as a school and church. The Florida City Canal was a key feature, supporting cargo and passenger transport. African American communities were present from the start, though their contributions were historically underdocumented due to systemic racism. Mid-20th century and Italian American influence. 1940s political shift. By the early 1940s, Italian Americans, led by figures like Sotilli, dominated Florida City's political and social life. Sotilli donated land for key community projects, including the Florida City Farmers Market, farmworker housing, and Homestead Bayfront Park. African American civic engagement. Despite their early presence, African Americans faced barriers to political participation. In 1976, Otis T. Wallace's voter registration drive increased African American influence, leading to the appointment of an African American commissioner. Modern era and economic development. Hurricane Andrew, 1992. Florida City and Homestead suffered catastrophic damage from Hurricane Andrew, impacting infrastructure and the economy. Recovery efforts focused on rebuilding and modernizing. Economic growth. Since the late 20th century, Florida City has prospered as a transportation hub, being the southern terminus of Florida's Turnpike and a gateway to the Florida Keys and Everglades National Park. Taxes from businesses along US 1, supported by the city's welcoming economic policies, have driven growth. The Community Redevelopment Agency, CRA, invested nearly $2 million from 2003 to 2017 to improve infrastructure and address slum conditions. Attractions and culture. Florida City hosts the Everglades Seafood Festival in February and is near attractions like the Coral Castle and Robert is Here fruit stand. Its proximity to Everglades and Biscayne National Parks makes it a stopover for nature enthusiasts. The Florida Pioneer Museum highlights its early 20th century history.